Hey everyone, I know that this might seem like old news, but it's quite far from it. If anybody's aware right now, there is another recall. I think it's number 4 try to get rid of Gavin Newsom. It's being run right now by Randy Economy. Now, I was heavily involved with the Recall Gavin 2020 effort. I started off just as someone who was collecting petitions, talking about it, and then I moved up to be a county lead because the area I was in, just let's just say it's not very friendly to anyone who opposes Democrats. And then I moved up eventually to be the regional manager after the individual who was held that position lost his mind on some crazy email. And then I basically went around 13 different counties throughout California within my immediate area to, help promote the recall, help boost people back up, deliver supplies, collect petitions, talk to people, recruit, find new county leads, try to find new people, like everything, like just help make it happen. Really, it was a lot of work. We did it like, I swear it felt like a lifetime, but it was pretty much just a little bit over a year. And we eventually got him. However, obviously, he then completely escaped from the jaws of defeat. And he bought his way out. I've talked about it a little bit in the past on some. I've mostly had private conversations. But I feel like this article right here really kind of lays it out on exactly how he bought his way out. Or let's just say we tied him up and put him in a bind, and then we inadvertently handed the rope to a bunch of lobbyists, unions, tech elites, corrupt elites, Hollywood elites to take advantage of his situation and drag him along in every direction that they wanted him to go. Which, now that looking back on it, this is going to be a painful lesson for your average citizen, your average activist, your person who's trying to make their state better and use mechanisms set in place by our founding fathers and those who developed our government for the for the right of the people, that now has been corrupt by those that just want to use all of us taxpayers for basically cattle, guinea pigs, whatever kind of demeaning name you want to use, that we're basically just being used to help fund their lavish lifestyles and their corruption, which we are. And we need to learn this painful lesson. We need to learn it quick. And it's a painful lesson. So, generally, like it states right here, in summary, the recall election gave interest groups that lobby at the California Capitol an unusual opportunity to wield influence. I mean, massive influence. We had Gavin. We had him. They donated millions to help Newsom keep his job. Now he's deciding fate of their bills. So when we did the recall and we were working hard, one of the biggest problems I always noticed we had was people had asking, well, who's going to be governor? Well, who's going to be governor? Who's going to be governor? And a lot of people just weren't happy with Larry Elder for whatever reason. They felt like there was no other Democrat, no other person they felt was right for the job, even though it was very blatantly obvious Gavin was the worst person to continue doing it. People are weird, man. I hate to say it, but humans always remain the same. We are a tribal people. We are. We're warm-blooded mammals. We are tribal. And if there's no great big chief wielding the stick, the monkeys aren't going to fall in line. All right. So let's cover up a little bit like who came to save Gavin Newsom. Now, it lays it out. It's a bit of a long article, and I kind of want to break it down to smaller videos just so we could properly cover all of it, and then better help understand and preferably educate the future masses on how this happened. I think one of the biggest problems we Americans have is that we get too comfortable. We are so comfortable. We're getting horribly abused, and we are comfortable in it. It's awful, but we also are just chopped up and divided into little pieces, and it's difficult to get people banded together and focus on anything, and the elites know that, and that's why they keep doing everything. Like right now, we currently have a mini, lack of better words, a mini race war going online between the hell is his name, that Carmelo Anthony guy that murdered the kid, that murdered another track student, and then I forget her name, but basically the girl that yelled a slur at the kid. And now it just every day there's some new thing of committing whites against blacks, and it's getting insane. Anyways, so let's stay focused here. All right, so this one again is an article from 2021. scroll down. So he got a total of $71 million. $71 million. That's insane. For a governor facing a recall, one of the most historically large recalls of our time, and he has a $71 million campaign war chest. Lots of bribes. Lots and lots of bribes. That's all it is. Okay, so let's take a look here. So labor unions, real estate moguls, tech titans, and interest groups that lobby at the state capitol often try to sway elections. Yep, it's nothing new. Yes, but it shouldn't be. But the attempt to remove Newsom presented them an unusually stark opportunity to try to wield influence. Donors could give the governor unlimited sums of campaign money for an election that held the same week. So that was a problem right there. Normally during elections, there's laws and there's ways around it. We all know that. There's ways that people go around it, or people start stacking. They may not spend a certain amount of money during campaign, but they start stacking payments and donations and favors way in advance that are much harder to keep track of. So here, what happened with this recall is, at least according to this article, he could get unlimited amounts of campaign money. Kind of weird how someone who's actually facing a recall and isn't just in the process, but is actually now on the ballot for recall, and all of a sudden the doors open up that they can receive unlimited sums of campaign money. Kind of odd why we would allow that to happen. Now, if I was to look back in time and guess, founding fathers, the people who created the recall system would have been like, well, if someone's really facing a recall, they're probably not going to be very popular by the people, and they're probably going to fail anyways. I believe it was Governor Gray Davis who faced a recall. Okay, so if you'll remember, I mean, again, this is politics that was happening back when I was in high school. But hey, elections have consequences, unfortunately, as we're learning with Obama. And sleepy Joe Biden. Good old Sleepy Joe. All right. But also, a lot of people don't remember this, is Gray Davis, as a California governor, was also recalled, which kind of opened the door for Gavin Newsom stepping away in. So basically in the early 2000s, Gavin was mayor of San Francisco, or working his way up into that office. I don't know the exact years, which then would lead him to be the deputy governor, and then now the governor we all know and hate, and now as he tries to walk his way towards being president. Gray Davis faced a recall and just got absolutely crushed. Now, unlike Gavin Newsom, Gray Davis did not have a bunch of individuals come and help get him out of this bind. There was no $71 million. There was no tons and tons of money. He basically was voted out. Him being voted out, Gray Davis pretty much opened the door for Democrats to have a supermajority rule in California, and every single Republican that's ever run for high office has been crushed pretty much ever since. So going back to this, the issue we have with recalling any big member of a political party holds a supermajority is the entire state is going to try and rally behind said individual and pay his way out. So what we need to learn here is how exactly the recall rules were taken advantage of, how people came in, well, not people, how lobbyists, interest groups, real estate moguls, rich elites took advantage of the recall to to control Gavin and forced him to sign bills or ignore bills that worked in their favor or did not work in their favor. So again, we'll reread this section here, that labor unions, real estate moguls, tech titans, interest groups that lobby the state of California off try to sway elections. So what the recall did, basically, as this lady says it turbocharged something that was already supercharged. A professor at Loyola Law School and former blah, 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 don't care. It is this perfect storm highlighting for us how money works in politics. So basically what it did was, since it was so unprecedented and the recall was so huge and it got Gavin really, really caught up, it just opened the door to every single corrupt lobbyist that wanted to keep things the way they were. Because that's really what happened when the recall failed. Except for, the lockdowns finally going away, and now, Media doesn't like talking about those lockdowns very much, do they? Unless it's to bash they're opposing political parties. But pretty much it went back to normal, and all the elites got to keep things the way they were, even though the cost of living in California keeps skyrocketing, and somehow magically all the real estate value continues to remain the same and keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So this article, this lady states right here, is if you start from donation land and you drive to decision land, that road used to be a lot longer, but thanks to recall, it's half a block away, Levinson said. For some donors, the unusual election was just another way to give someone they already supported. About 260 donors who contributed to the anti-recall committee also gave Newsom a total $1 million a year for his 2022 re-election campaign. So not only did they donate to his anti-recall campaign, but then they also donated to his re-election campaign, which, again, voters just, well, we'll question that voting system. But basically, he got re-elected. So to wrap this up a little bit, and then again, I'll cover this briefly. I want this to be a longer series of videos because I want to break down exactly what happened, and I also want to better understand this as well. Hollywood, $3.9 million. Okay, we're going over the amount that he gained from certain groups. Tech, $3.8 million. Let's scroll down here. Interesting. Indian tribes, $3.8 million. And just so you're aware, right now in California, Tuolumne County is looking to sell half of its publicly owned land to an Indian tribe because they can't maintain it. Want to know why they can't maintain it? Failed government. Real estate really dumped a lot of money. $5.3 million. Okay, let's go down here. Labor unions. Actually, these are the biggest ones. $25.7 million. And it's not listed here, although, oh, wait, no, it was. Okay. Prison guards also helped make sure that Gavin didn't get recalled. You know, the ones guarding the prisoners are the criminals. Yeah. Their union donated $1.8 million to fight that recall. And amid soaring tax revenues, he signed a state budget that gives public schools more money than ever. Teachers gave about $2.4 million. You know, our corrupt and broken school system that isn't working well for the students. Yeah. So basically, all of the big unions, the institutions, all came to save Gavin, even though he is failing the actual people that matter, the voters at large. They all came and gave him tons and tons and tons of money so he could continue to come and wreck California, gut people alive with taxes, and continue to ruin our state. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over all of it. We're going to go over every single one bit by bit. I'm going to do that video by video because I really want to break it down, and I want to really dig into who specifically it was, because it may not be all unions in that sector. It might be just some. But I want to see who did it. Because in the end of the day, Gavin, worst governor of all time, now wanting to come out and be president, is going to do the same exact thing, but at a national, international level. He's going to open his wallet, and he's going to give everyone the free access card. Well, sorry, paid premium membership. And we're going to see this, but worse, and our country will be absolutely demolished and destroyed even more. So that is the gist of how the recall failed. It wasn't because, as people like to say, oh, voters are stupid. Oh, voters keep saying. That's our problem. We keep saying that. We keep bashing our fellow voter and not really understanding and taking the time to realize what happened. And honestly, I don't blame us. The recall took an enormous amount of effort, a lot of work. I remember I was working full time. It was a lot of late nights, a lot of used up weekends. It was exhausting. It cost a lot of money out of my own pocket. Would I spend so much money on my pocket ever again? No. Especially now that I see that despite all of our best efforts, there are people just waiting in the wings for it to not only succeed, but to take full advantage of it, but contribute absolutely nothing to the recall. Because the reality is, too, The recall also didn't do as well because all the groups that had something to benefit from Gavin being recalled slept at the switch. And a lot of it is because of political jealousy and political power plays. That's also why it failed, but we won't talk too much about that for now. All right, American Constitutionalists. See you later.